Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Physics Tricks. Let's start with kinematics DPP 6, and in this we have first question. So all the 5 DPPs are there that if you want you can go into the description and click on the links which I provided in the description. So first question, as you can see over here, a ball is thrown vertically up with a certain velocity from the top of a tower of height 40 meter. At 4.5 meter above the top of the tower, its speed is exactly half of that it will have at 4.5 meter below the top of the tower. Find the maximum height reached by the ball above the ground. Okay, so it is given. We have one tower. From this tower, when one object is thrown up at 4.5 meter height, its velocity is supposed to be v. Okay, and at height h, its velocity must be then 0, right? Now then only it will have the maximum height. Then it will come back, and below the 4.5 meter, its velocity is exactly, it is given at this point, it is exactly half of it will have at 4.5 meter below the top of the tower. That means at this point it must be 2 times the initial velocity. So at this point it is given 2v. Okay, no problem. Now what you have to do is firstly find out what is this v. Okay, so how to find what is this v? Initial velocity is v, final velocity is 2v. So initial velocity is v, final velocity we have is 2v, and the acceleration is minus g, and the displacement s we have is minus 9 meter. So if you just put in the third kinematic equation, v squared minus u squared is equal to 2as, we will get the value of v, and that is 4v squared minus v squared is equal to v squared minus u squared is equal to 2 into a is minus g into s is minus 9. So if you just calculate, you will get 3v squared is equal to, this is 18g. So what is v squared? V squared we have is 6g. So this is v squared we have. Now we want what is the height above this, right? Above this point. So h is equal to v squared divided by 2g, you can write. So what is v squared over here? V squared is 6g divided by 2g. So gg get cancelled, we have 3 meter. So this height is 3 meter. So the height of the tower is 40 meter. So the total height we want, so here the total height is, as you can see, the total height we have, and that is equal to 40 plus 4.5 plus 3, and that is 47.5 meter. So above the ground, the maximum height of the ball is 47.5 meter. So I hope this is clear. Now the next question we have, for a freely falling body, find the ratio of times taken to fall successive equal distances. Okay, so over here we want for equal distances, what are the ratio of times? Okay, now if times are t1, t2, t3, what are the ratio of times? That is what they want. Okay, so let's calculate them. So firstly, what is time t1? So for that, d is equal to half g t1 squared. Okay, no problem. Then what is t2? For t2, if you take 2d, it will become half g t1 plus t2 whole squared. But what is d? 1 by 2 g t1 squared. So 2 into 1 by 2 g t1 squared is equal to 1 by 2 g t1 plus t2 whole squared. So this get cancelled. So 2 t1 squared is equal to t1 plus t2 whole squared. We want t2, so take a square root. Root 2 t1 is equal to t1 plus t2. So what is t2? From this we can say t2 as root 2 minus 1 into t1. Root 2 minus 1 into t1 we have. Okay. Now once we got t2, now calculate t3. How to calculate t3? We know 3d is equal to half g t1 plus t2 plus t3. But what is t1 plus t2? Root 2 t1. And d is 1 by 2 g t1 squared is equal to 1 by 2 g t1 plus t2 plus t3 whole squared. Now this 1 by 2g get cancelled. We have root 3 t1 is equal to root 2 t1 plus t3. So what is t3? It is root 3 minus root 2 into t1. Right. So likewise you can calculate t4. See, if we increase this 1 in 2, we'll get root 3. The root 1 in 1, it will become root 2. So it will be, next will be root 4 minus root 3 t1. Then increase t5 if you want. Increase 1 in this, root 5 minus root 4 t1, and so on we have. So the ratio of times will be 1 is to root 2 minus root 1 is to root 3 minus root 2 is to root 4 minus root 3 is to, and so on. So I hope this is clear. So this is the ratio of times which we have, right? Ratio of times in equal distances. Ratio of distances in equal times will be in the ratio of 1 is to 3 is to 5. But ratio of times, right? Ratio of times in equal distances will be in the ratio of 1 is to root 2 minus root 1 is to root 3 minus root 2 is to root 4 minus root 3 is to root 5 minus root 4 is to root 6 minus root 5, likewise so on and so forth. I hope this is clear to you all. So next one we have, and that is question number 3. A train moves from one station to another in 2 hours time. Its speed time graph during this motion is given. The maximum acceleration during this journey is. So whenever speed time graph given, so slope of speed time graph gives what? Gives acceleration. So if you take the slope for this, if you take the slope for this, and for this, we'll get the acceleration at each and every point. So for 0 to 0.5 hours, what is the acceleration? Acceleration we have is 20 final velocity minus 0 initial velocity divided by 0.5 minus 0. So we'll get 40 kilometer per hour squared. Okay. Now for 0.5 to 0.75, if you just calculate, acceleration is, the final velocity is 20 minus initial velocity is 20 divided by time, whatever that is. So it is 0 kilometer per hour squared. Okay. Now for 0.75 to 1 hour, right? So it will become acceleration is equal to final velocity 60 minus initial velocity 20 divided by the total time 1 minus 0.75 is 0.25. So you will get, this is 40 divided by 1 by 4. So you will get 160 kilometer per hour squared. And the last one we have for 1 to 2, if you just calculate, acceleration we have is finally 0 minus initially 60 divided by 2 minus 1, so which is equal to minus 60 kilometer per hour squared. So in the total, as you can see, this one is the greatest acceleration we have. So answer for this question is 160 kilometer per hour squared. So I think it is clear. So the next question is given: a body freely falling from rest has acquired a velocity v after it falls through a height h. Okay, so a body falls freely indicates initial velocity is 0. It falls through a height h, right, and it acquires a velocity v No problem. After it falls through a height h, okay, the distance it has to fall further for its velocity to become double. Now, what distance he has to travel? Right, he has to travel h dash to its velocity to be. Now we want its velocity to be 2v. Okay, so the final velocity v squared minus initial velocity 0 squared divided by what is called as the 2h is equal to g we have. Likewise over here we have 4v squared minus v squared final velocity minus initial velocity is equal to 2h dash is equal to g we have. So from these two equations we can say v square by 2h is equal to 3v squared divided by 2h dash. So 2 get cancelled, v squared get cancelled, h dash we have is 3 times h. So to become the 2 times velocity, right, it has to fall further 3 times the initial height. 3 times the initial height. So answer for this question is option A. So next question. 2 stones are released from rest. One from height 20 meter. One from height 20 meter. And another from some unknown height above the ground. Okay. One of the stones hits the ground 1 second after the other strikes the ground. Okay. The height from which the second stone is released can have value of. Okay. So it is given if this stone and there's one more stone is there of unknown height. I considered firstly the highest height, like greater than 20 meter height. Okay. So for this, let us consider time will be t plus 1, and for this let us consider time is t. Now we can calculate this time, and that is displacement 20 is equal to half into g into t squared. So we have, this is 5, so t is equal to 2 seconds. If t is equal to 2 seconds, this is equal to 3 seconds, and the h dash is equal to half into g is 10 into 9 is equal to 45 meter is the answer. This is one of the possibility, isn't it? This is one of the possibility. But what if I consider the height of the second ball is lesser than the height of the first ball? It is 20 meter, and height of the second ball is lesser. Indicates what? This will have the time t, and this will have the time t plus 1, isn't it? This ball will strike the ground 1 second after the first strikes the ground. So if you just calculate this t plus 1 value, it is half g into t plus 1 whole squared is equal to 20, and t plus 1 whole squared is equal to 4. So t plus 1 is equal to 2. So from this we can write t is equal to 1 seconds. Now once we got t is equal to 1 seconds, and this is 2 seconds, now we can find this unknown height h dash is equal to 1 by 2 10 into 1 squared, which is equal to 5 meter. So these two possibilities are there. That is, answer for this question is 45 meter also possible and 5 meter is also possible. But in the given options, answer is only the 45 meter given. If they would have given 5 meter as E, then you have to mark 5 meter also as the correct answer. So I hope this is clear. So it is very simple, right? It is very simple. So the next problem. Now it is given a boy drops stones at regular intervals of time. One boy is there who drops the stones at a regular interval of time from the roof of a building onto ground 9 meter below. The first stone released by him strikes the ground at the moment he had just released the fifth stone. The third stone is at a height of, that is what we have to calculate. Okay, so one boy is there who throws the stones at a regular interval of time, and they told first stone this is the first stone, strikes the ground when he just releases the fifth stone. That indicate second stone somewhere here, third stone somewhere here, fourth stone somewhere here. So this is the second stone, third stone, fourth stone. Indicates this distance is x, this distance is 3x, this distance is 5x. Why? Because of the Galileo's law, isn't it? Galileo's law of odd numbers, right? So x plus 3x plus 5x plus 7x must be equal to the height of this building, and that is given 9 meter. So 12, 15, 16x is equal to 9. So what is x then? 9 divided by 16. They want what is the third stone height. So you can write height of third stone is equal to 7x plus 5x, that is 12x. So which is equal to 12 into 9 divided by 16. So which is equal to 108 by 16 meter. So that is the option C is the correct option over here. So I hope this is clear. It's very simple if you understand the basics, right? Now why to consider x over here? Because the particle under uniform acceleration will travel in equal interval of time, will travel the distances in the ratio of 1:3:5:7. That is in the odd numbers. If you consider initial x, then second one 3x, third one 5x, fourth one 7x. Likewise, it will follow the path. Okay. Chalo, next. So this is the seventh problem. The height of tower is h meter. The body is thrown from the top of a tower vertically upward with some speed. It takes t1 seconds to reach the ground. Another body thrown from the top of tower with the same speed but downwards takes time t2. And if third body just released from the same place t seconds to reach the ground, then correct relation between t, t1, t2 we want. Okay, so see here, this is the tower given. If you throw the body upward with velocity u, it will take a time t1 to reach the ground. If we throw the body downward with velocity u, it will take the time that is equal to t2. And if you just release with initial velocity 0 meter per second, then it will takes the time t. We want what is the relation between t1, t2 and t. Height of the tower is given h. And in any one of the cases, all the heights are same, that is minus h only. So for first wall, we can write displacement as minus h, time t as t1. Then we have what is called as the initial velocity is u, and a is equal to minus g. For the second wall, displacement as minus h, time as t2, u as minus u, and a as minus g. For third wall, s displacement is same, minus h, time as t, u as 0, and a as minus g. Now if you just put in the second kinematical equation, we'll get minus h is equal to u t1 minus 1 by 2 g t1 squared. For the first one. Second one, minus h is equal to u minus u. Now why minus u? Because downward, minus u t2 minus 1 by 2 g t2 squared, isn't it? Okay, and the last one, for the third one, minus h is equal to minus 1 by 2 g t squared. Now if you just equate these two, that is first and the second one, we'll get u t1 minus 1 by 2 g t1 squared is equal to minus u t2 minus 1 by 2 g t2 squared. Now this side, this side, you will get u t2 plus t1, and here we'll get 1 by 2 g t1 squared minus t2 squared. So if you cancel out, you will get the value of u, and that is 1 by 2 g. It is t1 minus t2, because a square minus b square formula. T1 plus t2, this and this get cancelled. We'll have u as g divided by 2 t1 minus t2. Now put this u value and h value in any one of the equation. I am putting in this equation. So we'll get h as 1 by 2 gt square, u as g divided by 2 t1 minus t2, because here minus 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 plus, into t2 plus 1 by 2 g t2 squared. So this g by 2, this g by 2 and this g by 2 get cancelled. T squared is equal to t1 t2 minus t2 squared plus t2 squared. This get cancelled. T squared is equal to t1 t2. So t we have is the root of t1 into t2. So I hope this is clear. Now the next problem which we have, and that is a body falling from a vertical height 10 meter pierces through a distance 1 meter in a sand if it faces an average retardation in a sand equal to. So in terms of g we want. So till 9 meter there is no retardation. So here we have to find out what is the velocity. So final velocity at 9 meter is root of 2 into g into h is 9, which is equal to root 18 g meter per second. So, okay, and final velocity at this point is 0. So initial velocity at this point now is root 18 g. So final velocity is 0 squared minus initial velocity, that is root 18 g whole squared, is equal to 2 into a into s is 1. So if you just calculate this, you will get minus 18g is equal to minus 18g is equal to 2 into a, and what is a then? Minus 9g. This is the acceleration which we have, but they want retardation. So retardation a dash is equal to minus of a, which is 9g. So I hope this is clear. It's very simple. Now the next problem. When a particle is thrown vertically upward, its velocity at 1/3 of its maximum height is 10 root 2 meter per second. The maximum height attained. Okay, so 1/3 at its maximum height is 10 root 2 meter per second at h by 3. So he has to travel more to h by 3. So at this point its velocity is 0. So final velocity 0 squared is equal to initial velocity 100, right? Final velocity minus v squared minus u squared, that is 100 into 2 is equal to 2as, 2 into minus 10 into h, 2h by 3. So if you just find out h value, you will get this as minus 200 divided by minus 20 is equal to 2 by 3 h. So this is 10. So h we have 30 by 2, which is equal to 15 meter. So answer for this 9th question is 15 meter. The last question which we have now. The velocity of a body depends on the time according to the equation v is given. So the body is undergoing. That means body is undergoing uniform acceleration, uniform retardation, non-uniform acceleration, zero acceleration. That is what we have to find. So velocity is given t squared divided by 10 plus 20. Now if you just differentiate velocity, you will get acceleration, right? Differentiating velocity with time will give acceleration, and that acceleration we have is dv divided by dt. So therefore dv divided by dt is equal to d by dt of t squared divided by 10 plus 20. So which is 2t by 10 plus 20 differentiation 0. So it is 5t. So the acceleration we have is 5 into t. Indicates what? Acceleration is variable with respect to time. Acceleration is directly proportional to time. So this is called as the non-uniform acceleration. Right, non-uniform acceleration means it's not a constant acceleration, right? Non-uniform acceleration. So the object is moving under non-uniform acceleration. We can write non-uniform acceleration. So this is the third answer. Now if anyone has any doubt in any particular question, they can comment in the comment box.